Okay, yeah. The first 2 weeks have been really, really encouraging. I think the guys are really starting to, we try to keep a lot of the same terminology from last year, like we addressed, and kind of blend some new terminology. But they're doing a good job picking it up. I think the want to is there. I think the physicality is there. There's a lot of things that are very encouraging with this group. Anytime you're learning a new scheme, the biggest thing is just stacking good days, stacking good days, stacking good days, and looking for that consistency. Really, this back half of spring, the install is going to slow down a lot for these guys, and I expect to see more consistency day in, day out. But up to date, they're doing a really nice job.
Questions for Coach?
There's a lot of injuries at cornerback. And Chris Abrams and S. aren't really getting much time in the spring. But what have you seen out of the players that have been there so far getting those reps?
They're getting better. I think Coach Pogue is doing a really good job. And when you look at from day one, I think learning some new techniques maybe that are a little bit different. You can see that they're trying to do it our way, which is encouraging. But that's the biggest thing. As a unit, I think they're getting better. Every single one is improving, and one that really sticks out in my mind is Norwood and DJ Darius Jackson. Those two have really started to stack some days, like we just talked about together. Have probably been the most consistent back there, and both have the ability, and both have. A bright future ahead of them. Both are young players, but when you look at a Norwood, who is a high school quarterback, how much better he's gotten in 8 practices, and same with DJ. He's got tremendous balance. He's got tremendous feet, and you can see that it is starting to come together for those two. But all of them, Davion Sistrunk, Marcus Scott, there's a bunch that since day one to day now, that's probably been top to bottom one of the most improved position groups on our defense.
What do you think fans can expect to see from the defense at the spring game, which is a week from today, coming right up?
Yeah, we really haven't talked too much about it as a staff. I'm sure Coach Drinkwitz, most places I've been, it's been, vanilla a little bit, and that's good for the players to get out there and play, and obviously not showing our hand too much leading into the fall. But the one thing that stood out, regardless if we're in a base defense or pressure, I think our guys are going to play with great passion and great energy and great fundamentals. That's really, to me, what the spring game is about.
Blake, I know you were probably focused more on their guys on the other side of the ball, but you guys played Florida last year. I'm curious what you saw out of Tyron Hopper last year and what you've seen out of him this spring.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't, on the other side of the ball, didn't see a ton, but I'm glad we got him. He's a dude now with a capital D. That guy can play. He's physical. He can run. He's smart. I mean, he's the real deal. He's the complete package to me. And like I said, I'm excited. He's with the Missouri Tigers right now because he's a weapon.
Has anybody ironed out, do you have to put his whole name on the jersey? Or?
We just call him Lil Hop, so maybe he'll have Lil Hopper. But no, that's for Coach Drink and Mike to figure out down there in the equipment room. That's above my pay grade.
When we were talking to Coach Davis, I guess it was last week, he said he felt like towards the end of last season the defensive line got so focused on stopping the run that maybe the pass rush suffered a little bit. I guess how do you kind of get to the next kind of step, the next level with that pass rush?
I think being aware of situational football, obviously you better stop the run to have some fun, right? So that's always going to be our first priority is stop the run. But I think we can do some things from a call standpoint to help them out, to recognize down and distance. But, when you watch our one-on-one pass rush, they do a good job in it. And I think the biggest thing is understanding, tips maybe that can allow them to kind of pin their ears back before the ball's even snapped. I think that's generally when a guy has a plan and he's not converting run to pass rush. When they have a pretty good idea it's going to be pass, they can usually do a pretty good job rushing the passer. But I don't think it's a physical standpoint, deficiency. I think we got some good pass rushers up front for sure.
What do you think of Keegan McDaniel putting your face on a shirt?
Man, I've known Keegan for too long. So when I was at Arkansas State, he was a student assistant. Then I got him on at Louisiana Tech. So He can do that, I guess. He's one of the few. But no, I love Keegan. He does a phenomenal job for us, and I like his quotes on the back of the shirt. To be honest, more than I gotta block him from my Facebook is what I need to do. So, but no, I'm cool with it.
I know you can't talk about any individual kid, obviously, but coming in here and having spring ball and then also trying to get yourself familiar with coaches and prospects around this state, how's that process gone as far as getting into the recruiting aspect?
It's I think that it's been the biggest thing is just the geography of the state. Being new to the state, learning where these different places are, and trying to figure that out. I think our personnel department and obviously Coach Smith and Coach Davis that were here caught me up to speed with some of the kids that we have been recruiting here for a couple years. That hasn't been the struggle. The biggest struggle for me, I need to get a big Missouri map in my office so I can just see it every day, and that's been the biggest struggle. Like, oh, where is whatever Missouri, and they're like, oh, that's north, so that's been a bigger struggle than actually who the kids are.
Like Trajan Diffco came into last season pretty highly touted, struggled in the first half, and then seemed to sort of find his own in the second half. What have you been working on with him to try and get that form going into the new season to keep that level standard?
I think just being consistent. I think he's had a really, really good spring for us so far. I've been pleasantly surprised. I mean, he's 275 pounds. He's quick twitch. I mean, he has all the tools. Like I said, when I first got the job, I really didn't study too much of last year. But what I've seen from him so far, I've been very, very pleased with. I think both him and Isaiah are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And within this scheme, just over the years, we've had a lot of success at that position. And I think those two guys can kind of carry the torch. I'm really, really pleased with what both of those guys are doing so far.
Were either of the Hopper kids, kids that you personally recruited to come here once I know they sort of committed, I think, like a week ago?
Yeah, so I was still kind of new to the process, and Coach Smith and Coach Drinkwitz kind of already were on the lead on that. So, I didn't help recruit him at all, but I'm glad those guys did.
Anything else for Coach Baker? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.